Hello, my name is Leszek Stelmowski, and this is Fitness Soul Podcast. Today I will chat with Mark Appleford, Chinese medicine practitioner, Kung Fu master, and Tui Na magician. So please sit down, relax, and enjoy. So Mark, I've got a few days ago. I've got massage from you. Was it massage or no? What was that?
It was Chinese medicine.
Chinese medicine. Okay.
So we have 4 strands to Chinese medicine. Most people know about acupuncture, the herbal medicine, and then there's 2 strands that people don't really know about. One is the qigong, and one is what they call Tui Na. And what you got a couple of days ago was Tui Na.
Tui Na.
And
okay.
Tui Na.
What's that? What's Tui Na? I could feel it. It was quite strange. But so why it's different? Why it's different than, let's say, I said massage because this is what I had before. So this was Tui Na. Tui Na?
Tui Na.
Tui Na.
Tui Na.
Tui Na. And is it meaning behind it?
There is. Tui Na means, it translates as grasping and pulling the disease out of the body. So when you start looking at where this kind of comes from, this actually predates acupuncture.
Okay.
Because it's all the hands-on stuff before people kind of come back. So it's like it can go back, they can trace the history back to something like 4,000 years between, and they're putting the hands on, maybe kind of massaging, feeling the joints, opening up the body, before they started inserting needles or things that would kind of create or stimulate a response in the acupuncture system. It predates all of this.
I remember that where you've been kind of getting to the points, and then at this point you've been opening the tissue, isn't it?
Yes, that's
and then
right.
Suddenly you've been pressing something which was quite painful. This is where you would put normally the
needles.
The needles.
This would be the acupuncture points. Tui Na is the physical therapy side of Chinese medicine. It's the hands-on stuff. It's the hands that kind of get in there. But it's different from massage because it's Chinese medicine. So it's treating people in a really holistic way. So let me give you an example about this, okay? If somebody was kind of coming into me and they were anxious, it means what they're called that their system is too revved up. In some senses, this would be too yang, too active, too kind of all's on the go, and you're burning up the body's resources and joint and resilience. With the Tui Na, we could actually kind of slow that down by kind of reducing the tension in the body. So it can come down to here, and then people could just kind of start to relax. And that can be done really hard if you need to break somebody down, or really soft if somebody's too revved up. It's one of those things that, some people's bodies are like horses.
Okay.
So what I mean by that, okay, so if you're doing Tui Na and massage, sometimes you can pull the horse to lead it, or sometimes you need to gently lead it.
And just show the way.
Yeah, show the way, and the horse will naturally follow. So this is this kind of skill about the Tui Na. There's a lot of things around that, and it is about skill. It's not about technique. So for me, it's a whole difference in this. Is in the Tui Na you got from me, was skillful because of the way that I was trained.
Yes.
Developing the touch, developing the skill, being able to feel what's underneath. So if I give you that example of what some says theory underpinning Tui Na, it's the Chinese medicine theory. So imbalance in the body. So if somebody's got tension in the shoulder, they've got tension in the hip.
Okay.
So it's that cross connection. Golfers, anyone who plays a racket sport who's kind of doing that kind of cross connection motion, they're going to have that hip impingement here because they're always doing one-sided. So they've got imbalance in the body. So one side's always going to be more tense than the other because depending on how much they play.
And that's true because when I play handball for years, I've been using right arm, but my left back was always sore, and it's like so what you would do in this situation? Let's say I'm a golfer and I've got really sore back. What I do? I'm coming to you.
One of the things I'd be doing, I'd be asking. The first thing I'm doing is I'd be assessing you as soon as you walk in the door. Okay. So someone walks in the door, I'm listening to the way they walk, how they're holding themselves. Are they kind of tension coming to here? Do they have a slight twist in the spine coming in? Listen to their tone of voice. Are they in pain? What's the this is before they even before we take a case history.
Okay, so you're just watching the person, like the holistic look at the person,
It's the way they get on and off the couch. Are they getting on like this? What I love about Tui Na is there's a saying in Chinese medicine that you're only as old as your spine.
Okay.
So so if you're 20 years old, but you have the spine of a 90-year-old, all hunched over and bent back, then you're going to move like an old person.
Yes,
And that can happen because of like you're using your spine. You've been using up the resources of your spine, so it's become 90 years old. Fast living, high impact sports, training hard, not looking after yourself, and then something goes.
But it probably goes other way around as well. If someone is not using, so you're saying about the active people,
Yes.
but also people who sit all day.
Yes.
They got the problems as well. So you can help both of them.
So it's one of the questions we ask people about kind of. We all know the symbol for yin and yang. We've got the black and the white and the little dots and stuff in there. What most people don't tell you is that the secret to that is the line in the middle.
This one which goes.
Yes, and that's the balance. So if you've got two active, that's yang, too much yang, 100% yang, and you've got somebody who's too inactive, that is too much. It's not balanced.
Yeah, and
it's a balance. So if you're training for a sport, then you're going to have the balance around that. So it's like lots of good nutrition, sleep, rest, and all the things that we know about when we were training. But that's the harmony, because it's all balanced in that context. I'm training for an Ironman or a triathlon. This is where I need to find the balance in this.
Okay.
I'm an office worker, so I need to find a balance for that. Everything is in context.
So how the Tui Na will help?
So let me give you an example, right? Somebody kind of comes in for a specific injury, frozen shoulder.
Yeah.
That's straightforward enough. You work it, but you're working with people in very different ways. So people kind of come in. So someone who's got a frozen shoulder, that's a condition. The context around it would be different.
Yeah.
So someone who, like yourself, quite strapping, young, in good shape, you want to get back into swimming, don't you? So let's use you as a case.
This is what I do now. Yeah.
So you can't swim because your shoulders aren't impacted. What I would do with you is I would work really strong and really hard, to break down the adhesions that are kind of going on, or the muscle impingement, to get you back into it, because you have the resources to recover. And also it's affecting you not being able to swim and do your sport because you've got an event coming up maybe a month from now, and you need to get in the water to perfect your technique.
Yes.
So there's a psychological need there, so that I work with that, so I need to get back in. Somebody comes in who's 70 who doesn't have muscle tone, and the shoulders dropped and they've got frozen shoulder because it's been lack of use, and the muscles have atrophied. What I'd be doing with them is working very differently. I'd be working with them, I'd be nourishing rather than breaking down, because they don't have the resources to come up. So what's happened with you is that you've got stuck because you've kind of trained the muscles.
And I cannot lift it up. Yeah.
Someone's muscles have collapsed, so they don't have the tone to hold the shoulder.
So can you build it up?
You can build up, so it might be that we need to nourish the muscles first. This is Chinese medicine here, so it's like, this is weak, so build rather than break down. It's like one is yin, so you need a bit of yang to stimulate, to build it up. One is yang, so you need a bit of yin, solid stuff to rip it apart.
That's fascinating.
To build it back up. But this is the skill coming in. And that's what I'm saying when I'm walking with people, I'm listening to their tone of voice. Is it a strong tone of voice? Are they quite shy? Are they quite weak? Because maybe they've had something impact on them.
Okay.
So this is what we start working at. So Tui Na is Chinese medicine, it's not massage. Now when we start looking at this, is the medium and the vehicle we deliver Chinese medicine through is the hands.
Oh yeah.
So this is where the skill comes in. Now, it's not techniques or routines, it's skill. So let me give you an example. We have a technique called gunfa. It means rolling fist. And this is the technique that I spent 6 months just doing.
Just 6 months
6
doing
months
this one thing.
Just doing just that. And it's one of those things.
So how you practice that? What was the drill?
Well, what we do is we'd use a rice bag. We'd use a bag full of rice. So this is when we practice. This is before we even got to touch bodies.
Yeah, good.
And a rice bag is full, and if you ever hold a rice bag, you can move around, and it can be quite thick, and it can really feel it's a good, almost same density as a body. So we'd be working on that, just practicing the technique for like hours. I really don't know how many hours I did on the rice bag. And so we'd get the technique kind of, and then I'd kind of go on to my teacher, and my teacher would be like, be working the body, and you'd go like, wrong, do it again. No, do it this way. That out, and he'd be changing my hand literally like this.
And there was just enough.
And just to here. Because when I'm doing the rice bag with the gunfa, can I borrow your shoulder?
Yeah, of course. It will be easier for this one. Yeah.
Okay, so when I'm doing this one here, when I'm doing gunfa, I can use it for warming. I can use it on one point if I'm stimulating acupuncture points, or I can use it for kind of ironing if I'm stimulating muscle channels, the sinew channels, the anatomical trains. So I can use it for kind of working into here. But the thing about it is so let me show you, I can switch between all three in one technique
Okay.
to here, and that's a skill for Gunfa.
Oh yeah, it's quite nice. You can keep going.
But the thing about it is that I can do that all in the space of very quickly.
And you changing you're going from side to
But the other thing I'm doing as well is I'm feeling what's going on underneath the muscles with this.
Okay. So you develop this feel in here. So if I do this for myself, I can feel the same thing all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the skill comes.
Okay. And that's why 6 months of pressing the back. You should have this on your leaflets and on the website. I've been massaging
well, this is the plan.
The back, the back full of rice.
Yeah,
for 6 months.
I'm going to be looking at this because I'll at some point, maybe next year or later this year, I'll be teaching Tui Na. Okay. So I'm going to be doing it the old style apprenticeship like I had it.
Fantastic, because I've done my massage course, Swedish massage, and I think I finished whole course in I don't know, a week.
Yes.
And I had my qualification, so I can basically set up my practice and I can start treating people. It's not really. I'm not really good at that. Yeah.
No.
And you spent years of practicing this, so I would rather choose you if I.
Well, this is what I mean about the skill. I mean, the other thing about doing those 6 months was actually conditioning the tendons and the ligaments.
Okay.
And the shoulders, getting the technique right. Because I can literally do that for about 4 or 5 hours straight.
This just
working with the hands, working with the body, moving. Because you also this is just one part for the wrist. Then I learned how to stand, relax the shoulders, and how to move this to here. So I'm working, because when you look at Tui Na, they all have different techniques. So you have Tui Na, which means Tui is straight, is pushing. Or
the Tui is pushing.
Yeah, so straight line pushing. They call it Tui Fa, straight line pushing.
Okay.
And Na means to grasp. So when you're looking at the techniques with this, it's that you develop the techniques and the skills. Then it's being able to interchange because of what you feel. I treat what I feel.
Okay.
So let me give you. So if I'm going to come
down,
okay, so this is quite important. So I'm coming down to here. Okay, and first of all I'm palpating. So bicep tendon here, coming across quite tight, down to your deltoid, or what they'd call, depending on the channel, coming down to here, the muscle channel. So this channel coming down to your head to the deltoid into here. So I could be doing straight line pushing to here.
Yeah.
Like this, switching to what they call bofile, which is plucking, which is kind of tearing the muscle apart. So I'm kind of same motion to here. Then anfa pressing in.
Yeah.
And then back into this. Then I can be doing it with both hands as well.
Okay.
One hand holding, coming to here,
and then
to here, bam, switching up to here, pressing into here.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Dispersing, because as I kind of come through, and working out the cross adhesions and the muscle fibers, all those kind of things.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing feeling. Normally in the Swedish massage, I would do this. Only this.
So yeah.
So how you started it? It's so fascinating. But how's? I just checked the battery. Yeah, everything is fine. How it happened? So. Have you done some martial art before?
I did. I mean, when I was doing this, what got me interested off this was about 30 years ago. I walked into a hall up in the Highlands, and I started my martial arts journey or process, and I started doing kung fu.
So was it like you watched Bruce Lee movie and you said, I'm gonna be a dragon?
Pretty much. Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, all those really cheesy kind of kung fu movies when you see them coming in. And one of the things about that, doing the martial arts, doing the kung fu, is that in the traditions, they always had the fighting. But also what came out of the fighting in the martial arts was a system called Jitta, which means falls and hits medicine. And there's a big part of that in the Tui Na. So let me give you an example. If you're working with somebody in the old days, it doesn't happen these days because of legislation and stuff. Somebody would pop their joint because you've been working with them in training. Somebody dislocated their shoulder, you'd put it back in. Okay. You'd pop the shoulder back in, or if somebody had bruises and stuff like that, you'd be making your own remedies to kind of cure like arnica and stuff like that, to put in from Chinese medicine herbs. So the martial artists really developed a lot of kind of good hands-on skills for massage to kind of release tension in the body's adhesions, popped ankles, wrists. That's what I'm saying, because when you're back in those days, you'd be training for like 6 or 7 hours a day if you were a professional martial artist.
Right.
Because it's a very different need. So when you look at the people who are training in endurance sports or just doing a lot of training, they had the same conditions back in those days. Intense trainings, because in those days when you're training the martial arts, it was a fighting system. Today we're using it for a lot of the martial arts that can be fighting MMA sports and stuff like that. But back in those days, it could literally be defending your life or your village.
Yeah, it was mass. It's not just your privilege that I'm doing this one time per week for an hour and that's me.
It's like, you're out there, and it'd often be your grandfather would teach you, so you'd be there all day and doing this.
No excuses. So then they've been they had to heal it themselves as well, and then
because if you think about it, if you injure yourself in training, how can you defend the village? So you want to speed up the healing process in the body as quickly as you can, and they'd be making all kinds of potions and lotions and stuff that would work for this, and I make some for my own as well based on the remedies.
Okay. So and those traditions, sorry to interrupt, it's like they are years and years,
hundreds of years,
centuries,
hundreds of years. Going back. When you look at martial arts in China, it goes back something like 3,000 years.
So it's a lot of, and our medicine, which is now here, is like, what's that? It's 200 years, maybe 100 years, yeah.
It is, and it's one of those things, and that's what I like about the Chinese medicine, is because it lets you look at injuries or conditions in a different way from Western medicine. And I need to be really clear about this, is that a lot of people who do what is classed as alternative therapies, they can slate Western medicine, but for me, I think it's half and half. There's different ways of looking at it, and this comes from my own clinical background. I spent 15 years working as a mental health nurse.
Okay.
So I speak from experience. It's fantastic. You've got all this really good stuff, but it's not everything. Whereas Chinese medicine, it gives you a different way of looking at things, which sometimes can be just as good or just as useful.
Okay.
So it could be that if somebody has a lung issue, like asthma or something like that, the Chinese medicine would really look at it holistically rather than just the biomechanics or the biochemical components of the lungs.
Okay.
So that's what I find really interesting, and again, Tui Na is the way to deliver that. So if I'm diagnosing somebody with maybe like a breathing issue with the lungs, I might be checking the back, I might be checking into the diaphragm. Are they actually impinged because the spine is contracted? Are they being able to breathe this way? There's too much tension in the shoulders. So the first question I ask people is like, how are you breathing? I don't know. Have you ever thought about your breathing? No. Right. And just putting their hand on the belly, and then bring their awareness down to here, and they start to breathe more. And they go,
the diaphragm, and then
because what happens is, and I'm sure you're aware of this, Leszek, as well. You see people, they come in and they've got bad movement patterns like this,
right here,
and it's and this is the baseline that they come from, rather than kind of like everything kind of come down and moving from this natural baseline. And the breath is the same. Everybody kind of breathes up here. Could be from working at the office like this, too much tension over here, coming through. So there's a lot of things like that come through. And with the Tui Na, I'd be working with people to get them back in their bodies, even very gently. Or sometimes, I might need to work them really strong to really open up the chest. So again, it's finding those those balances and stuff. Okay. So this is what got me interested in this, was this kind of whole Kung Fu expert, as well as kind of being the kind of Chinese medicine practitioner and doctor, and they also went hand in hand. A lot of the kind of major kind of legendary figures of Kung Fu were Chinese medicine doctor and Kung Fu master. It was and it was interesting.
Are you still with the Kung Fu? Are you still doing this practice? Practice all the time,
Yeah, a couple hours a day.
Couple hours a day.
Yeah, wow. But it could be the difference, because I could be doing the sets much more physical. I could be doing more meditation, depending on what we're working. Okay. So it depends on what we do. But the thing about it is, like, am I going to be fighting off 6 armed muggers with machetes in Edinburgh? Well, I hope not. I really
you never know.
But it's more about fun and the self-development and self-evolution that kind of comes through those arts.
And it's probably helps you as well when you're treating your patients, because you're using...
Keeps me strong. It allows me to learn how to use my stance, so I can actually sink through the body, playing more and actually generating power without impacting myself. It's one of those things you see people doing a lot of the the massage, because they don't have body awareness. They'll often be generating power like this, and they're impacting the shoulder rather than kind of generating the power from the whole body.
So they hurting themselves,
yeah.
instead of just
Which is slightly ironic because you're doing something to help people get better, and you can be impacting on yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's where the martial arts really helped me out with this kind of doing this kind of ability to move.
So you've got your own practice at this moment, yeah?
Yes.
What kind of people are you working with? Are it like whole spectrum, or you focusing on some?
No, I tend to work with the whole spectrum. What I really like working on is kind of what they call sports injuries these days. I like working that because you're working with people who are motivated and engaged, and they know their body, and it makes a really good partnership. The reason I like that is because you can get them into the body, you can start talking with them in languages they know. But I work with anybody, because it's Chinese medicine. So some things I wouldn't work with because some modalities of Chinese medicine are better suited for certain conditions. What I mean by that, for example, fertility, or that would be better with kind of maybe acupuncture and herbal medicine. Or to maybe teach them more kind of about the Qigong medicine to kind of affect their own internal body. So that's one of the things I don't really work with. Musculoskeletal conditions, anxiety, maybe some of the internal disorders again according to Chinese medicine, like IBS. So when you look at IBS, Chinese medicine, there is a relationship between what they call overthinking in Chinese medicine, the aspect of mind, or what they call Shen. Shen is what they call mind in Chinese medicine, and that's a whole different kind of complicated subject. No. I tried learning Chinese many years ago, and when I lived in Hong Kong for a year as well. So I lived in Asia quite extensively, and I was out there, and I was in Hong Kong. I was trying to learn Cantonese. And they'd just look at me, and I'd come in and I'd be like, trying to order boiled rice, and they just go look, and they just look at me and they go, "What do you want?" in English. It's much quicker, much fine. If you ever been in Hong Kong, it's a really fast-paced city, and you're at a restaurant, they just want to get the order in and get the order out.
They don't want to spend an hour with you.
No. Yeah. So the IBS, working with something like the IBS, because
tell me what IBS is.
IBS is what they call irritable bowel syndrome. That kind of thing where you get the stomach going, you're not kind of digesting the food as quickly or as efficiently, because there might be kind of too much stuff going on.
And you're visiting the toilet very often.
Yeah, that kind of things. Now, there could be lots of reasons that kind of create that. So, I'm not kind of saying that I'm treating IBS per se, but it could be something that is a condition of the stomach and spleen.
Okay.
And stuff, or the large intestines. Well, the Chinese, there's a correlation between this, the stomach issues, and what they call overthinking. Right. Overthinking. Let's just be really practical. People go, "What's overthinking?" And it's that sensation of your thoughts going really fast, like almost like a spinning too much, and you're trying to do 101 things, and that's what they call is yang rising, when the energy, all the stuff is coming up here in your head, and it's your body's trying to get faster, so it's trying to do all of this stuff to here, so you're getting that system's revving up. So this is what we're looking at. So if the Tui Na, we may need to work down a little bit here, softer, to release all the tension in the abdomen area. The stuff that's kind of crunching down to here, releasing all the fascia coming through there, and then or we may need to work more on kind of slowing the mind down. And again, that would be kind of working with the breath, working to here, maybe giving people exercises to do.
So it's fascinating, because probably if you go with this condition to the doctor from here, they would give you a pill, and then there's always answer with the pill, but it's kind of like masking.
It is
the real issue.
It can be, and it's one of those things. It's always good to go to your GP and get things checked out, because there could be lots of things rising. Getting blood work done, medicine's always really good to do. But if you came to me, I'd be asking, what's going on with you, what's in context. You'd have the time to talk. If you go to a GP these days, it's a very shortened
period. 15 minutes. You have to be out of the door.
Exactly. And it's like, and if you've got an emotional component, which Chinese medicine is looking at, how do you resolve that? How does that get underneath there?
So you're more like psychologist as well, isn't it?
It's holistic.
It's holistic. So it's again everything, your mind and your body. And
yes, they call it the three treasures: Jing, Qi, and Shen. Physical body, Qi, energy or communication between systems. Shen, mind. And when they look at mind, they don't look at mind just in the cognitive sense. It's the whole sum of who you are
as a person. And
yeah, and that's the important thing. So it's those part of things. So let me just ask you a question. Right?
Okay.
What drives you?
What drives me?
Yes. What's the? Can you tell me one thing that you spend a lot of time doing?
Helping people.
Yeah.
Probably get better.
Yeah.
And
Good.
feel better.
What do you do yourself?
What I do myself.
Yeah.
I trying to. Oh, this is quite. It's me supposed to be asking
No,
questions.
but there's a point I'm going to asking you.
I'm probably trying to be as best as I can in helping people. So
Yes.
anything I do, I trying to be stronger.
So let me be a bit more direct now, because what I was there was looking at the type of question that I'll be using, because I'm trying to help people come to their own realization, rather than going like, oh, you're doing this. Because if people realize on their own, then there's that internal connection, rather than being told outside. So it's from inside out, not from outside in.
Yeah.
So let's say, how much time do you spend doing movement and doing working out, moving?
Yeah, daily, couple of hours. Yeah, probably.
But how many about your classes?
How many classes? Yeah, so it's half of it. It's
So you're teaching. You've got a lot of time there. Supposing you couldn't move.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen to you?
I would probably feel quite anxious.
Do you feel the tension
I was
coming
like,
in?
I can feel it. Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
These are the things that I kind of know what you're helping people rise to that kind of things that are looking at the questions, looking at the things that drive them, and then you hook things into there. So okay, do you want to do this? Yes. Okay, right. Try this out. Does that make you feel better? Good. Keep going with that and really get into the felt sense of the quality.
Okay.
Don't just do it. The one thing I've been really aware of just now is I've been working with a lot of dancers and talking about, and this is something you'll appreciate, mobility versus flexibility. Dancers are fantastically flexible, but sometimes they're too mobile, or they're not mobile enough in the joints, because they can actually they've got great flexibility, but it masks poor mobility. And what I'm doing with them is, when I say, I'm asking how they're stretching, and I'm going to them like, okay, how are you stretching? He says, oh, we're doing this, this, and this. I'm saying, so are you still stretching as if you were professional when you were professionally dancing? And they go, yes. That's the wrong kind of stretching for you, because you're opening up the joints too much. Really try and get the spine moving, the mobility kind of going, so really feel into it. So really kind of hold the pose, and when you feel it strengthening, stretching or lengthening, hold it and just put the mind there and let it relax. And this is going to open up the joints, get past that kind of seatbelt effect that the tendons have when you kind of going too far. So
and then
you can
relax,
so you can really lengthen the full length of the tendon.
So how are you doing it? You basically, let's say I want to stretch. It would be easier to say. I want to stretch here, yeah.
So
my forearm. What I do?
So when you look at tendons and ligaments, they have a part that stops them. They have a reaction that stops them really overstretching. So if there's something goes ballistic, they tense up.
So basically, rapid thing.
Yeah. Look at like the seatbelt. Seatbelt you have to pull through quite slowly to get to the full range. So when you're kind of coming to here, it's kind of feeling into this to here, and then you feel that stretch.
So I'm going here into the stretch.
Say you engage that, say at 50%. Hold it there. Now relax the shoulder. Relax but keep the stretch on there.
Okay.
And now add a little bit more.
Okay.
Can you feel the difference in the quality?
Yeah.
Because the kinetic chain. So what the Chinese call the sinew channel. We've heard of the meridian system, acupuncture points. Tui Na works on both the sinew channel, which would be called fascia these days. That's my own opinion. And it's the sinews, because they were cutting people open a long time before we were doing it in the West.
Yes.
And they were like, kind of, what is this stuff?
I want to try it.
Yeah. They were cutting up prisoners or people who'd been executed and doing autopsies on them.
So it wasn't like guys from Scotland. Like, who was the famous guy from Scotland? He was opening the bodies, opening the graves.
I don't know. You're talking about Burke and Hare, I think.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah, the grave robbers and stuff. And it
was 200 years ago, and then the guy's been doing this for 2,000 years, probably. So they got a little bit more experience.
Yeah, so they were kind of looking at this, and they developed the whole philosophy. What makes Chinese medicine really hard is the cultural context.
I'm just keep checking that, because I've got only one bar of battery, and I hopefully it will stay like that. Okay. Sorry.
What makes Chinese medicine really hard is the translation to Western, not language, but Western experience.
Mm-hmm.
So you might talk about.
What do you mean by that?
So the Chinese will, because of the theory, they'll go, "Oh, your liver's got too much fire," and they're going, "What the hell's that?"
Yeah,
Your
if
liver's
someone
got too much
told
fire.
me that, I would be like, "Are you crazy?"
Exactly, but when you look at the Chinese medicine is based on natural philosophy. So what happens with a fire? Heat, yeah,
And burns. Yeah.
burns, and so it's burning up energy.
Okay.
So if your liver fire, or it's overworking too much.
Okay.
So you see what I'm saying? This is what they talk about. This is the ability to translate Chinese medicine into Western experience.
Mm-hmm. So it's probably good, like someone like you being in between both worlds, kind of got much more impact on people from here.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I love about it, again, is this thing about looking at Chinese medicine very differently.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is, that Chinese medicine gives us a different way of looking at things. So let me give you an example, right? Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's lots of different types of depression here, and I'm not going to get into all of them because when you look at the ICD-10, which is the International Classifications of Disease, there's reactive depression, clinical depression.
It's many
Massive
different
types
ways.
of depression, but depression is a word that we use a lot in the UK. I'm depressed. Now, in Chinese medicine, they'd go, we can start talking about serotonin, the biochemical aspects of the brain, the psychosocial factors that are coming in. We could get really articulate about it, and how the nerves are firing, sympathetic nervous system, high arousal, so blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Whereas the Chinese medicine will give you will go like, what's happening to you when you're being depressed is your spirit is being crushed.
Okay.
And people go, yeah, I can feel it because
This is how I feel. Yeah.
So it can come down to you, it feels like something heavy's.
Sitting on your chest and on your shoulders, and yeah.
So this is when we start getting from there we can work with something. From there, when people get that realization, rather than kind of going, well, and again, it's defining what something's going on. Because the effect of the mind in Chinese medicine is paramount. Everything starts at the level of mind, including all recovery, resilience, and healing.
I love this connection. It makes sense when you.
Yeah. And
it
if
really does.
But you think about the subconscious or unconscious parts of the mind, that could be affecting the conscious part. All those things about memories, feelings, reactions that we have to stuff, all of that can be affecting the mind as well. It's not just the parts we're thinking before living in the moment. So what the first point I ask people is like, are you depressed or are you sad? We try and identify each emotion. Going, well, actually, I'm sad. Okay, right, let's work with that.
So this is a little bit different than being depressed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But depressed is a word that we use a lot in the common language. I'm depressed today. And that's okay to do that kind of stuff like that. But when you come to working your own recovery and resilience, it's like when you're doing movement or workout and you're defining you define what you want to do 3 months down the line. Okay, I want to train for this event, so here's how I need to do it. Same with recovery and resilience. I want to be there, so okay, right, here's the steps.
So okay, let's change a little bit. What change the way we I want to use as much as your knowledge as possible.
Yes.
Is there any 3 or 4 tips you can give me what I can do daily to improve, without seeing you? Obviously the massage and stuff is really good. Tui Na, sorry.
Yeah,
but it's just for me at this moment. What is it? Anything I can do? What you do?
Yes.
In the morning, you waking up. Is there anything you do daily or?
Laugh more.
That's
laugh
cool.
more. Really laugh more. And what I mean by that is laughter. Let's just look at laughter. Okay, when I'm laughing, my shoulders kind of open up, my lungs start to move.
Yeah.
So I'm breathing more. So just on that physical level, just laughter there,
So just
this way. Because when you look at these kind of, I'll come back to that. Second tip is try and be grateful. Just find one thing to be grateful for. And I don't mean kind of going, it's grateful to be alive, just to find small things that you can be grateful for. Even if it's a sunny day in Scotland, just be like, I am actually grateful. And it's a quiet feeling. Just be feeling and just be in touch with that. Kind of go into it. Second thing is physically relax.
And what you mean by that? How to feel that I'm relaxed?
Well,
physically?
that's an interesting one. Most people, when you look at the definition of relaxation,
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole levels of perception and areas of perception that people come into. A lot of people would say, well, I come home and I collapse on the couch and have a glass of wine.
And they got the
TV on and I'm relaxing. And that can be good, but it can also be switching off.
Mm-hmm.
Just disassociating from those kind of things, like I'm just going to be here. I call that collapsing.
Okay.
No, I'm relaxed. Actually, no. Another way of saying I got a really good definition.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
We should
The
be
rain.
grateful for the rain now.
I'm grateful we've got a roof over here.
That's it. You can always find something.
And just something small. So one of the things about physical relaxation is your mind can run away with stuff and create tension. So it's one of those things that when we start doing tension, our shoulders slowly start to creep up.
Mm-hmm.
And then it can kind of come down. If you're able to, I'm just going to let these go and roll them off. That's relaxation.
Okay.
Another definition of relaxation is optimal tension, or the lack of any, or the absence of any unnecessary tension is another way of saying that.
So just enough to sit
Yeah,
nice and
right,
tall,
yeah.
but without getting too
Tense.
tense.
Or without
Okay.
collapsing forward. So just that right amount of tension, but not collapsing,
And
not resisting.
So yeah, okay. So I'm trying to do this. So this is the. So I'm laughing. I'm grateful. I'm not holding too much tension. Anything else?
Practical thing about this, right, is our mind can lead us away from the moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at how stress builds up. Let's just take this. You up in the morning, you fall over the cat, and you start the day badly. Yeah, and then from there you're starting from that kind of that platform or that place of perception that day's going to be a bad day because I fell over the cat.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just gets worse and worse.
And
Things
that's
that
spiral.
spiral out. And that can sometimes be too much. Now there's a whole level of what they could call about the aspects of mind, which we, again, long
conversation. Yeah.
It's the ability to kind of check in and maybe influence that process. And I use the word influence rather than stop or kind of break it. Or sometimes you may need to do that. But if we get into a battle of something, we can push and pull, which creates more tension.
So yeah.
So let me give you examples like that. It's like, people often kind of look at themselves like, why the hell did I do that? Rather than like, why did I do that? Which is a whole different kind of intention and connotation coming to that, why the hell did that? Creates more tension and compounds things.
So let's say it's half of the day, like it's a midday, and I'm really tense, and I want to kill someone. I'm just feeling like what I can do.
Go for a walk. Sometimes even just recognizing you're feeling like that, because that too will create change. Actually, I'm really pissed off. Wow, I need to just let that kind of go, and it's too big for me to change right now. It's too big. Feelings are too big. But if you set your phone randomly, or you hook it into certain times of the day, and just check in with yourself. Okay? Or maybe what you could do more practically is like could say to a mate, look, or a partner, could you actually just maybe text me 4 or 5 times a day and just with the line, checking in, check in with yourself, because then you're like, oh, actually I'm a bit tense. Okay, I can relax and something to hear, and do it randomly. Or you want to tie it into a certain event. Like one of the things I'm doing is I'm learning clinical hypnosis, because and there's things about self hypnosis, being able to go into the body and relax. So you might kind of go do something like that. But what you need to do is you need to check into it consciously. When I mean that, it's actually really not just like I'm doing this, but really feeling in what's actually going on here. Actually, no, I'm quite upset today.
Okay.
But and that's going to get bigger. That could make me bigger. It's simmering underneath. Wow. By becoming aware of it before it becomes too big, then it's much easier to influence. So if you're doing that during the day 3 or 4 times, maybe when you go for your coffee, literally take your coffee like this and just check in with yourself, how am I today?
So it doesn't have to be necessarily meditation of sitting in the crossed leg.
No, not at all.
You don't have to.
Tell you one thing: if you really, really love coffee, just take a moment and do the whole kind of coffee thing. Really just hold it, feel the warmth in your hands, but you have to really feel it, smell it. Really get involved. That lovely aroma that kind of comes with coffee, and then maybe let the taste savor in the mouth. Really taste that, and that's putting you right in the moment.
because you cannot do any other things when you're smelling the coffee and drinking it.
Yeah. So if we look at mindfulness, which again for me is a big part of Chinese medicine, which is more the Qigong side, from a sense of bodyfulness arises mindfulness. If you come from the body, you can work in the level of mind.
Oh wow, that's a really good one. So
that,
I will be using this more often probably.
It is, and it's those little things, but it's looking at the intention behind change, because change can be hard, and it's but we don't want to make it harder than it is. And this is when you come back to the Tui Na. So this is where I deliver a lot of this stuff through the Chinese medicine, through the Tui Na. Tui Na is the vehicle that I do, and it's that part where we come into it, as well as the Qigong therapy, and kind of I draw on my own background from mental health stuff, looking at a person holistically. So it is a synthesis of kind of East and West and a lot of
Okay,
ways.
so we're coming to the end of this. It was really nice to speak to you. How people can find you? You've got a new website?
I do have. My website is called Living Strength. It's www.livingstrength.co.
Okay.
Just .co, not .com.
I will put it in the notes under. So
okay. It's called Living Strength because we all want to live with strength. Internal strength, external strength, just being strong in life.
So people going on your website and they can book their appointment with you, or
they can email me, drop me a line, contact me, or you can call me on my mobile number, which is 0787 507 4646. And just have a chat.
And have a chat. And how many times do I need to see you? Is it like, sometimes I've been a few times to some people, they think, oh, it's gonna take ages. It's like, can you feel improvement after 1 or 2 sessions with you?
Yes, you should always feel improvement even after the first session. Even just learning how to relax the body. That'll have knock-on effects. It'll let the blood flow easier, get the resources to the area that's maybe injured. Just talking, even recognizing things. Now, what may happen after that is, if you're doing something that may be more emotional, you may touch into something that's quite a strong feeling, and that may be unpleasant. But it's the process of moving
and you
releasing, and it's that part when you kind of come into the gym after you've been in the gym after a long break, and you get on, you feel really good the first day, but the next day you're like, oh, this is hard.
Yeah.
So normally, if we're treating a condition, you should see a change in after 1 or 2 treatments, depending what we're treating, depending how you react to it. If it's not working for you, then I'd be like, look, I can't treat you. There's your money back.
Awesome.
Because it's ethical. I'm doing Chinese medicine. There's a whole ethical kind of component to that. If I feel I can't help you, I'll refer you on to someone else. So normally, if it's a condition, 4 or 6 treatments should see a really big change in stuff, rather than kind of continue going. And what we do is we assess it after each treatment. How are you feeling? Okay, go away for a few days, and then okay, if it's something like a frozen shoulder or wry neck, then 4 to 6 treatments, things should be improved.
And then you should be sorted.
Oh, we can never ever kind of say definitively, because it's all in context.
Yeah,
it's all in context. What's kind of going on for you? Have you done the rehab work? Have you been relaxing more? Then things are not going to have it. It's a partnership. I do my part, you do your part.
There's not only I coming to you and I'm expecting you to do miracles. I need to.
I've had some pretty good miracles so
far.
Yeah,
someone told you that you are a magician. Yeah. What you do, so a magician.
I know.
That's good.
But I like it. It's fun. The reason I love this is because I really see people kind of getting benefits from it. The resilience, come back into their own bodies. Just working with that. That's really fun.
Well, Mark, it was really a pleasure to have you here, and I will be your patient probably very soon. And also we'll have Mark here in the studio.
Yes.
We never talk about this yet, but I'm planning to get him here and
once a month. Yeah.
Once a month or something, so people can book in. So if you are with us in the fitness soul, you can meet Mark like that, or you can go to his website and book it through him. Yeah,
definitely.
Anyway, we'll do this again probably at some point, especially after I will do some maybe small podcast after the treatment. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
It was
Lovely.
a pleasure. Cheers.
Look forward to seeing you.
Awesome.